Although it has since seen some continuity contradictions in various stories like the Clone Wars and Tales of the Jedi, the Ahsoka novel from 2016 tells an important story, following Ahsoka Tano between her time fighting in the Siege of Mandalore at the tail end of the Clone Wars, and joining the early Rebel Alliance. Here's a brief summary of the novel ahead of the double-episode premiere of the Ahsoka series. During the Siege of Mandalore, the former Padawan Ahsoka Tano led the Grand Army of the Republic's assault against Darth Maul's forces. Following a lightsaber duel, she manages to trap Maul inside a ray shield. A year after the establishment of the Galactic Empire, Ahsoka is in hiding on the planet Thebeska. Adopting the pseudonym Ashla, she finds refuge and works with the Fardi clan, a powerful and wealthy local family involved in smuggling. On the first Empire Day, Imperial officers come into town to meet all of the new people. Eager to stay out of the Empire's eyes, Ahsoka gathers her few belongings and heads for the spaceport, using one of the Fardi's freighters to leave the planet. She flees to the outer rim moon of Rada, a remote farming settlement. Posing as a mechanic, Ahsoka befriends a local farmer girl named Kaden Larte, who she agrees to work for in return for ration packs. Ahsoka settles into the abandoned home of a woman named Sietra, who moved out after getting married. Despite some hesitance, Ahsoka meets Kaden at Zelda's Cantina and befriends her farming crew, including Vartan, the Celestian woman Malat, and twins Hoban and Nira. When questioned about her background, Ahsoka claims that she is an orphan. As time passes, Ahsoka becomes the village's mechanic and develops a rapport with Kaden and her sister Mira. She also explores the nearby hills and caves, which she identifies as a potential hiding place in the event of trouble. While meditating in the nearby caves, Ahsoka senses the arrival of Imperial Star Destroyers, signifying that the Empire has come to Rada. When stormtroopers visit her place the following day, Ahsoka uses a Jedi mind trick to convince them not to reassign her on the grounds that her work is important to food production. Later, she goes to the local spaceport and manages to retrieve her starship after some haggling with an Imperial officer. After hiding her ship, she meets with her farming friends at the canteen. Ahsoka advises Kaden and the other farmers to resist the Empire by slowing crop production. 2 weeks later, the slow crop production leads the Empire to increase the work shifts without increasing food rations or breaks. Ahsoka spends her day smuggling food, medical supplies, and water recyclers to the caves, and eventually she briefs the other farmers of her actions and plans to start a resistance movement. For the next few days, Mira assembles explosives while Ahsoka and Kaden set up a door for their cave. Vardan later tells Ahsoka that 8 crews, roughly 40 farmers, are prepared to support her plan. Later, Ahsoka leads a team consisting of Mira, Nira, and the Rodian Colvin in planting corrosive charges on Imperial walkers at the local spaceport. When Ahsoka discovers that Mira has real explosives in her bag, she learns that Vardan had sent Kaden and Hoban on an unauthorized mission to target the administrative building. As Ahsoka, Mira, and Nira approach the Imperial administrative building, the first of Kaden's bombs explode. Ahsoka and Nira head to the Imperial tanks in an attempt to disable them. She soon finds Kaden and her unit, who are pinned down by Imperial fire. Hoban is killed throwing himself at Imperial blasters. They are soon surrounded by stormtroopers, whose lieutenant orders his men to execute the prisoners. However, Ahsoka uses her force powers to crush the Imperial's blasters, taking the opportunity to flee with the farmers. Back at the cave, Ahsoka reveals her true identity to Kaden and Mira. After resting, she learns that Kaden has run off into town, where he's arrested by stormtroopers. In Imperial captivity, Kaden is interrogated and tortured by the Empire, who promises her a merciful death if she reveals where her friends are hiding and the identity of the Jedi. Kaden remains defiant despite sustaining a broken arm. Ahsoka manages to infiltrate the Imperial prison and rescues her. After escaping, Kaden counsels Ahsoka to take her ship and flee off-world, since the Imperial commander wants to kill her. Elsewhere, Senator Bail Organa of the Alderaanian sector studies a report about the recent events on Rada. He takes interest in the reported Jedi activity. After deleting the report for security reasons, Bail contacts Captain Ramus Antilles to get back R2-D2 for a sensitive mission. Elsewhere, the Inquisitor known as the Sixth Brother is on Thebeska searching for a reported Force sensitive when he is recalled to deal with the Jedi presence on Rada. Ahsoka decides to return to Thebeska to check on the Force-sensitive Hedala. Upon entering the Fardi home, Hedala tells Ahsoka that she sensed there was a shadow while she was away, who Ahsoka believes is a dark-side creature serving the Emperor. A week later, Fardi hires Ahsoka as a pilot, where she finds herself traveling to other cities on Thebeska and making off-world trips. During an off-world cargo trip, Ahsoka picks up several human passengers from an escape pod. The woman tells them that their shuttle was attacked by pirates who took several prisoners and that they barely managed to escape. Later, Ahsoka returns to the Fardy household to find that they have been visited by several stormtroopers. Following the Imperial search, Fardy apologizes to her for the Empire pinning their smuggling activities on her. To avoid further trouble from the Imperials, Fardy advises Ahsoka to leave. She also tells Fardy that his niece, Hedala, is special and to keep an eye on her. After departing the Fardy household on her ship, Ahsoka travels to a remote world, where she is followed by a starship belonging to an agent of the Black Sun. Ahsoka rebuffs the Black Sun agent's attempts to recruit her and flees on her freighter, but is pursued by the agent. A third, larger ship arrives and attacks the Black Sun vessel. Ahsoka then tries to flee into hyperspace, but is caught in the tractor beam of the third vessel, where she is greeted by Chargery Tage and Tamsin, who were hired by Senator Organa to find Ahsoka and rendezvous with him. However, believing them to be hostile, she knocks them both out. She also gets R2 to transmit the coordinates of the ship he's traveling in. Senator Organa rendezvous with Tage's ship in the Tantive 4. Upon studying the security footage from Tage's ship, he discovers a single frame of footage showing Ahsoka's montrals visible above a crate, identifying her as the Jedi he is after. Entering his office, Bail discovers that Ahsoka has smuggled herself aboard. Bail informs Ahsoka that he is forming a rebellion, and is recruiting people to fight against the Empire. He agrees to help her protect Force-sensitive children before assigning her a new mission. He briefs Ahsoka about the sixth brother on Rada, who, in order to lure Ahsoka out of hiding, decided to hunt down her friend Kaden. Meanwhile, in the hills of Rada, Kaden and her sister Mira are hiding in the caves. The Inquisitor manages to force Kaden out of hiding by threatening to kill her companions. After taking Kaden prisoner, the sixth brother kills many of the other farmers, with only Miria surviving. On the way to Rada, Ahsoka visits Ilum and discovers that the Empire has carved up great chunks of the planet for some unknown purpose. Returning to Rada, she lands her ship on the opposite side of the moon from the main town. Ahsoka heads back to the caves and encounters a distraught Miria. Miria tells her that the others were killed and that Kaden was taken prisoner by a gray creature. She agrees to help Ahsoka rescue her sister by acting as her lookout. Ahsoka sends Miria to Selda with news of an impending rescue, while she heads towards the Imperial compound. In the main street, Ahsoka encounters the sixth brother. After dodging his blows with ease, she cracks a cylindrical hit with the touch of her hand, causing it to explode, killing the sixth brother. She retrieves the kyber crystals from her fallen foe and succeeds in turning them back to their natural color, white, which she uses to forge her new white lightsabers. Ahsoka then fights her way into the Imperial compound and manages to rescue an injured Kaden from her cell. While still inside the compound, Kaden confesses her feelings for her. She and Kaden head to Selda's cantina, where they reunite with Miria and Selda. Ahsoka tells her friends of her plan to evacuate the town. As they evacuate the population, Organa's A-Wings assault the Imperial compound, shooting down several Imperial fighters. 3 ships arrive to begin evacuating the village, while Imperial tanks bombard the evacuees. Armed with her twin lightsabers, Ahsoka slices through one of the tanks, causing it to explode and overturn a nearby tank. Ahsoka heads towards the third tank, but is too late to stop it from wounding Varden. She uses the Force to rip the tank's turrets apart. Ahsoka picks up the wounded Varden and carries him aboard the Tantive 4. On board, Ahsoka reunites with Kaden and promises to meet again. Following the evacuation of Rada, Ahsoka smuggles her way aboard the Tantive 3 to talk to Organa. Senator Organa offers to settle the refugees, who number a few hundred on Alderaan, but Ahsoka tells him that they want to help the rebellion, so Organa agrees to send them to a different planet, where they can grow food for the rebels. Ahsoka shows Organa her newly acquired lightsabers and explains how she healed their kyber crystals. She points out that what happened on Rada and with Tamsin and Tage shows that the rebels need better channels of communication, and offers to help with that. Senator Organa inducts Ahsoka into the rebellion, and she tells him to call her Fulcrum. Elsewhere, the Grand Inquisitor surveys the charred fields of Rada. After inspecting Ahsoka's work, he sets a course back to the base and tells his crew to inform Darth Vader they have found evidence of another survivor. How excited are you for the Ahsoka series? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like the video and subscribe for coverage of Ahsoka as a new episode premieres every week. And remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.